Barou isn't taking any kind of disrespect this week, as he's about to bag himself his 5th NEO EGOIST League goal. Yo, what's going on everybody, it's Animasu, as always, bringing you guys another weekly theory video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing some of my personal theories for chapter 228, as well as looking at some of your theories from my comment section and my Discord. If you guys enjoy these types of videos, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, comment on my videos, and even join the community Discord if that interests you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and please enjoy the video. Now as always, before we get into the theories of the video, it's a good idea to take a look back on what was important from that whole chapter. With Barou going rogue, the whole field was sent into a frenzy as our man is just going off, doing things like rainbow flicking Ness's sorry ass. The king is explaining that he always planned to break the system. He'd basically just use Snuffy to get whatever he wanted, which in this case was the Predator Eye, so he no longer had any use to fall in line with the system. Now Barou also admits that the reason for his defiance this chapter is clear as day, by telling Snuffy that with his tactics, he could never surpass Isagi yoichi. It's kind of funny how obsessed my man is with Isagi, but I guess he still needs to get back for the second selection. Anyways, with Barou actually passing the ball to his team, he now has the entire Ubers formation moving with his ideals in mind, mimicking the exact thing that Isagi's chasing. A whole lot more of Barou being edgy goes on as the ball is being worked up the field, with it ultimately ending off in an intense scenario. Barou pulling back his leg to take a shot, and Kaiser and Isagi yoichi just arriving at his front. With that little recap out of the way, that last event actually leads us into our first theory. Will Barou manage to score the Equalizer here? My honest hope here is that Barou does indeed secure himself a goal here, but not just any simple shot. After being blocked by Isagi 4 consecutive times, I believe that the king should make a shot befitting of his ego, by scoring a super goal in the NEL. As for what kind of super goal, I think the shock and super factor of it will come from how quickly it happens, but that hopefully taking place in the next 3 to 4 pages. Against world-class field readers like Isagi and Kaiser, Barou's main advantageous factor is his unpredictability, as we've seen from matches specifically like the Japan U20 matchup. If Barou could just rip a power shot from the windup that he's taking now, he could potentially slip it under Isagi's leg and past Gagamaru, or maybe even straight between those two lovebirds. Now it may seem like a far shot to take, but even Isagi himself says this is perfectly within his range of scoring. What used to be I think a 29 to 30 meter range of shooting is now more likely a 32 to 33 due to his NEL training, which would make a top left screamer all the more perfect. The only issue with this outcome is that Gagamaru would probably have adequate time to save the shot as he still should be in flow, but maybe they just intended to have him in flow for that one moment. I personally think that Barou has been off-screen mining a bit too much for my liking, so I'm hoping that this upcoming chapter doesn't do him dirty. Now the next possible goal theory that I have for Barou involves a slight little detail from chapter 227. Those of you who already watched my chapter review know this, but just under Kaiser's arm in this badass spread, we can actually see both Mark Snuffy and Noah. Mark Snuffy specifically I think could possibly even provide an assist to Barou here, as odd as it sounds, so just calm down and hear me out here. As we see at the very start of chapter 227, Snuffy and his best friend Mick used to have the exact same mentality as Barou. If you cannot be the best, be the king of football, then life just isn't worth living. With Barou rampaging up the field and recruiting underlings for his calls, Noah actually makes fun of Snuffy because of this, asking him if it feels bad to be bitten by his own dog. With aura radiating out from his eye, however, the answer seems to be the exact opposite, as Mark Snuffy seems to be pumped up by this rebellion. I mean, even while smiling, the Uber's master is screaming out for Barou to show off what he can do. Using the Ubers that I created, just try and surpass me. The facial expressions, actions, and words of Snuffy seem to reflect satisfaction rather than disappointment in Barou's actions. This, on top of Snuffy being visible under Kaiser's arm in that final panel, everything just makes me think that Mark Snuffy will somehow assist in Barou's goal here. It's very probable that Barou himself has been forced to learn combo plays with Snuffy during their training, so I'm sure that he's well equipped for the situation. The only thing separating him and Snuffy is 2 defenders and Noah marking him, which brings us to the only one likely scenario. Barou could potentially lob the ball over both Kaiser and Isagi, leading into a Snuffy header to ground pass right back to the king. Now while this may be something that I could really see happening, there's also the possible scenario of Snuffy just scoring himself here. With the Uber's master now being motivated after reminiscing about his past, what better time than now would we have to see a goal from him? Now this scenario is a bit less likely due to there being no need for him to have a goal, it's just that I personally can see it happening right now if any time. With Barou being presented with 2 Metavision users in front of his shot, it's not likely that he can just slip it right on by, leaving him with only 2 options. somehow dribble past them with chaotic, unpredictable moves, or pass the ball. Now that's also excluding the fact that he might just score a screamer or a power shot anyway, but let's just forget about that idea. Before we get into that theory, I just want you guys to remember the chapter 228 title of Son of a Bitch. Well, I think those words could potentially be Barou's here, as Snuffy will end up stealing his student's goal all for himself. Potentially passing the ball here to his master while expecting an assist, Mark Snuffy would hopefully just end up scoring a header in this scenario, leaping right over Noah. I also feel as though some insanely effective dribbling or 50-50ing with the goalkeeper would fit his character too, as he's well known for his strategies. I mean, we can't forget that these teams are designed for his own goals initially, so maybe he isn't going to just let Barou by with an easy challenge. Anyways, right before we get into those amazing theories that you guys were cooking, let me just ask you this question. Do you personally think that this match is taking way too long? Throughout the community recently, I've really been seeing an influx of people saying this during these last few weeks. Now, in my personal opinion, I'm actually enjoying this BM vs Uber match so far, and I think that it's only drawn out so far because Barou hasn't scored this goddamn Equalizer. Anyways, I just wanted to quickly get your input on that, but now, it's time for the fan theories. Now, starting off with a little short statement from my boy Jacob here, he's reminding us that this was the exact same scenario that Nagi was in, with both Kaiser and Isagi at his front the same as Barou. He, however, went on to score a super goal anyways, as we all know, which became the top streamed video from the entire NEO EGOIST League. Jacob believes that Barou's going to score a similar goal that will surpass or be on par with Nagi's 5-shot revolver, which is an absolutely insane theory. Now, do I think that this will happen? Not really, due to the shot already being Barou's 5th potential goal in his last 2 games. This goal needs to be impactful and badass, but maybe not to the extent of the lazy geniuses. Moving on to the homie Anish here, he believes that Barou will actually not score a goal here due to an awakened gagamaru awaiting his shot in the net. Now, I did remind you guys in the last video to remember, gagamaru has activated his flow state, so things might indeed not be as simple for Barou as they seem to be. Now, the commenter actually goes on to say that after the star change system expires here, Barou will actually end up scoring after the fact, with his new system and plan finally succeeding. Before you say anything, please do not let this happen, and let me tell you why. As we're talking about earlier, people have already been complaining that this match has gone on for way too long, so if Barou's goal is postponed for another 3 to 4 chapters as you're saying, the community just isn't going to be happy. Now, for the final commenter theory of the video, we have somebody who believes that Don Lorenzo will actually be thriving in the chaos. Now, he doesn't specify if he thinks he'll score or assist here, but luckily another commenter Rich Boy here adds that it will be an assist to Barou. He also points out a crucial reason that Lorenzo should not score here, being that the new Gen 11 defender has already shown himself off enough through his numerous showcases of locking down Kaiser, zombie dribbling, and all that good stuff he's done. Now, I highly agree with him, but as I've said multiple times over, Don Lorenzo is a new generation 11 defender who specializes in switching to offense, so I think it would be amazing to have him have an offensive showing as well. Anyways, if you guys are excited for chapter 228, make sure to drop a comment down below letting me know. My official overview will be released this Tuesday alongside a 229 theory video the day after, so make sure to stay tuned for that. As always, if you amazing people enjoy these theory videos, my chapter reviews, or anything else here, then thank you so much. Make sure to check that you're subscribed to the channel, commenting on my videos, and even joining the community Discord if that interests you. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and please, have an amazing day.